Yo, 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 yo! This is Session Moth Martina, and this is Table, Athers, and Chairs. Not ladders, it's adders. And I'm not exactly like the high IQ that I could have.
Where does solar energy come from?
Grass? That sounds fake. Fuck off, that's not bigger than your head. I knew that. I am on fire!
Hello, today we have Martina the Session Moth. Martina, how's it going?
Hi, what's cracking?
Not too bad. Just after Breed Pro Wrestling's debut show in Sheffield. How do you think it went?
I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were teaming with the Anti-Fun Police.
Yeah, with my sworn enemies, Anti-Fun Police, but against More Than Hype, who I've wrestled in Ireland before, and I really enjoy wrestling them. I think they're great. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, even if I had to turn against my compadres in the end.
Let's go back to the beginning. How long have you been wrestling now?
Oh, too long. 8 years now.
8 years?
Yeah, it's shocking.
Wow, that's quite a long time. Where did you start training?
I started training in main stage wrestling in Dublin in 2011, I think. Yeah, I just started, like, it was completely different back then. I was just doing, like, Kazuji. It was just, there was no character to it or anything like that. It was just basic being a wrestler. Didn't get me very far, but it got me a lot of experience under my belt and got me very used to doing, like, camp shows, got me very used to being in front of crowds and just getting comfortable with myself and kind of getting to know my way around a ring and so on.
What are your earliest memories of wrestling? Like, how did you fall in love with it as a kid?
WWF, watching like Raw and SmackDown on Saturday mornings. They are the best memories of my life. That's what got me back into wrestling. I fell out of wrestling for years, as everyone kind of did for a while. And I was just out with my friends and we started rewatching, like, or we started talking about like old Raws and stuff. And I remember how much I loved like Stone Cold and like Vince McMahon, that whole feud. So we started chatting about it one night, and then I went home and I was like, oh, I'm going to watch some of it. And I watched some and I watched some and I watched some, and before I knew it, I was obsessed.
What characters did you like? Find the most?
Stone Cold, he was my man. And Vince, everything about Vince is my idol. Like, he's fucking deadly.
So you like started watching it during the Attitude Era then?
Yeah, the Attitude Era. I go back and rewatch it all the time now.
How difficult was it getting into wrestling in the Irish scene back when you started?
I never knew there was anything for wrestling, and I think I stumbled across the main stage show, or the main stage training school, and I was like, oh my god, that's really cool, maybe I could be a ref or something, but I didn't actually think I would do it. And then I think I was in line to meet Chris Jericho and get a book signed, and the guy in front of me, who's actually Foxy, our ref, or no, it was his little brother, and he turned around to me and he said, oh, my brother's coming back from a show. And I was like, what show? He's like, oh, a wrestling show. There's wrestling shows in Ireland? Yeah, so then, like, Foxy came, and I was waiting on my boyfriend at the time, and we ended up talking. We're like, oh, my God, this is so cool. There's, like, wrestling shows. So then we went to go see one, and then before you know it, we were wrestlers.
Do you remember your first match?
Yeah. I remember I got asked by Wrestling.ie, which wasn't my home promotion, to go do a show up north, and I did not think I was ready for it. I was 6 months training, and I said it to Joe Cabray, who was my trainer, and he said I should do it for the experience. And I remember being so nervous that the promoter just kind of said, oh, your boyfriend can, like, tag with you as well. And it was going to be against Joe Cabray and, like, a girl. So I was like, okay, well, at least I know I'm in safe hands. And I went and I did it. It probably was very bad, but I remember feeling at the time that it went pretty good, like, for a debut. Because everyone, you always hear that your debuts are terrible. But, like, I remember feeling pretty good about it after.
Do you think there's been, like, a massive shift in, like, the Irish scene, in which sense it used to be very reliant and heavy on imports, whereas now you look at the scene and you've got people like yourself, More Than Hype, Kings of the North, Jordan Devlin, people like that coming over to the UK more. Do you think that the growth of the Irish scene is like something that could like continue to grow?
Definitely. I feel like the Irish scene back when it started, I think it was kind of myself, Kings of the North, and Jordan Devlin were at some points were the only Irish on the shows, and then it was all imports. But I think for the time that was what was needed to gain the hype and the interest of the crowd, and to be quite frankly, the rest of the talent wasn't exactly like there at the time. And then, but like there was a lot of people coming up in the training schools So then the contender shows happened, which was a great chance to showcase these guys and start mixing them in with the imports, which got them eventually ready to be on the big shows. So I feel like them contender shows really brought up the rest of the Irish scene, and then it ended, like, I think everybody in Ireland just kind of rose to the occasion and ended up like being completely on par with all these people that we were flying in. So eventually it was like, well, why are we bringing these people in? We have these people at home now. And now the UK is starting to, like, I've been in like wrestling around the UK now for almost 2.5 years, very steadily, which is shocking to me, but it's like a dream come true. And now the rest of the boys, like I've been out with the More Than Hype boys and Scotty and stuff, and me and Jordan are like notorious for having a travel relationship, like.
I mean, you like you say, you're fairly regular here in the UK now. Fight Club Pro, Southside, you made your debut in WrestleGate's first show, Breed Pro's first show today. Is it surprised yet how much you're like loved over here in the UK?
Literally every single weekend I leave, and I just think, God, I honestly do think I'm just so lucky. Like, it's so rare, especially from Ireland, to be flown in every single weekend. I count my blessings every day, and I think like the scene is so much bigger here than it is in Ireland. Like, we only have like 1, maybe 2 shows a month at home, so if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be full-time wrestling. The fact that I get brought over here to different parts of the country all the time, it's what is keeping me going, and it's keeping me full-time wrestling, and like it's what got me to Japan, it got me to America, it's getting me like other places that I'm going and stuff like that. So like the UK scene is what really kind of burst me out and made me like I put it back to OTT started me, and then the UK kind of got me on a grander stage because all eyes are on the UK at the moment.
You mentioned Japan. When did you go over?
I went over for the first time in April 2018, and then the second time in the same year, which was shocking to me, in October.
Who did you train with?
Io was our trainer the first time because she was still there before she left for NXT, which was intense, but it was very good. And Kagetsu, who's part of Away to Tie, my group that I got put in. And then the second time Kagetsu was training us, and Hiziki was helping. And they're literally, like, no word of a joke, there's 15-year-olds there that are the best women wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. They're shocking, like.
What's the main difference, both like wrestling-wise and culturally, in Japan compared to the UK and Ireland?
There is a very different. It's just a different style over there. It's definitely. I got over very well in there because a lot of them had said to me that I was bringing a lot of American wrestling into the Japanese style, because the Japanese is very like focused on the wrestling, whereas like I'm so character based, so I would interact with the crowd a lot, and I did a lot of my comedy, and they really enjoyed it because it was so fresh and new. They weren't used to it, so they loved it. It was like new to them, and it was like the most basic of comedy too, and they like lapped it up, which was great, and it fit in with the Way to Tie really well. So like it was kind of adding that like character aspect strongly into the Japanese style, but then you obviously pick up like traits from the Japanese style as well, because you're training with them and you're watching these matches all the time, so you kind of learn how to put matches together differently because they just do them differently to here. It's, I don't know, like they're different. They're similar but different. And then culturally, it's a complete shock. It's like totally, it's just strange. Like you go shopping in a supermarket and you don't understand anything. Like you're buying chicken and it's turning into pork and all this stuff. It's crazy. It's fun though. It's exciting because you're like, you can't read anything. You don't know where you are half the time. You're like with your English speaking friends and there's nobody else to talk to really. But like you kind of rise to the occasion and it's a lot of fun because there's just so much to do there, and then you're there for wrestling, and it's the wrestling fucking thing of the world, really, isn't it? It's every wrestler's dream to wrestle in Japan. The fact that I got to twice in a year is surreal.
How did your gimmick go over in Japan?
They loved it, I think, because it was such a shock. I toned down a lot of the like grinding aspect of it. I was just more goofy, I think, was more my character there. I just turned up the goofiness and the silliness and the drinking. They loved the drinking aspect, like they loved it. I think it's just because it's a very big drinking culture. But so just the comedy-wise, I literally didn't do anything like too outlandish, and I couldn't like say jokes the way I kind of usually do here. So it was just about being goofy and like express everything with your emotions and stuff like that. But like I think, as I said, because they hadn't seen it before, it was so fresh to them, and it was just in Stardom. It like just integrated with the rest, and it was fresh and new, and obviously so that like that made me stand out to like the other kind of guys and girls that had come over, who were like, they're all brilliant, but they're kind of there to wrestle more so, and I was there to be like entertainment. And I think But they have me back, and they put me a part of their biggest group, so I assume it went over well.
How close would you say Martina is to Karen?
We're very similar, I'd say.
You look similar.
Yeah, yeah, we look similar. Like, I wouldn't be as big of an alcoholic as my character says. Like, I do like to go out and drinking though, but I actually only really drink really after Fight Club. Other than that, I have like a casual beer, but I don't go out like on a massive bender anymore. No, but like all the jokes are me. I like the taking the piss out of myself is me, because I do that. That's what I always say about Martina's, like compared to when I was doing Kaza. Was like I was going out, like I was having a lot of fun backstage with all the wrestlers and all my friends, like, and they'd be like taking the piss out of me and slagging me and calling me an idiot, like all these, like, and it was always so much fun. And then I go through the ring and I wouldn't be having as much fun in the ring as I was backstage. So then when I started doing Martina, it was kind of like transferring a lot of the fun. Like even some of my matches, like people call me Karen now because it's just so Twitter has become a gimmick now. So yeah, I think it's like all of the humor is mine, all that. It's like we're pretty much one and the same. I have so much fun doing it, so I think it is me.
You mentioned that Twitter's become like part of your gimmick. Yeah. You've got a reputation. I don't know how to word this without being impolite. Not possibly the brightest, maybe.
Yeah, I think what I came from was like traveling with Jordan, and like we just such long trips and hours together, and you know you get a little like you're sleep deprived, you haven't eaten enough, and I just end up saying like things, and I'm not exactly like the high IQ that I could have.
Well, I think it's only fair that we give you like an opportunity to prove that you're not just a pretty face and that you are actually quite intelligent. So I've got some like basic 12-year-old school questions.
I actually forgot about this. This is going to be horrible.
So these will be quite easy. I reckon you'll be okay with most of them.
Okay.
Start with a bit of geography.
I fucking hate geography.
Okay. Name the following capital cities.
Fuck.
France.
Paris.
Correct. Wales.
Cardiff.
Holland.
Amsterdam.
Correct. See, you doing well. Belgium.
Brussels.
Hey, well remembered.
Like 2 weeks.
USA.
New York.
Close, it's Washington.
Same thing.
Japan.
Tokyo.
Well remembered. Spain.
Barcelona.
Sorry, it's Madrid.
I got cheated. I was actually going to say that, no.
Italy.
Venice.
Rome.
Fuck.
Scotland.
Glasgow.
Edinburgh.
Fuck, I'm there all the time.
Okay, last one for geography. Germany.
Essence?
Berlin.
I would have known that.
Okay, I'm going to move on to science.
Oh no, I don't have a chance at that.
Can you name the 3 types of rock? You'll get a point for each one.
Solid. Marble. Stone.
No, I'm sorry, the answers were sedimentary,
I would not have known that if you fucking in my life.
metamorphic, and igneous.
That sounds fake. That's not, they're not, like, I would have known that if you actually had a gun to my head.
3 primary colours.
Black, white, and grey.
Red, blue, and yellow.
What makes them special? Fuck that, that's not fair.
Where does solar energy come from?
Grass?
The sun.
Oh, okay, fair.
What planet is closest to the sun?
Mercury.
Correct!
Yes! That was a complete guess! That was a complete guess! Yes! I brought that one.
Okay. How many days does it take?
365.
Wow.
I'm a genius!
Okay, here's a very good question, and I'll accept one of 2 answers.
Okay.
What is the largest organ in the human body?
The leg?
Do you want to try again?
The Chest.
It's the skin.
Oh, that makes sense.
I would have accepted the liver as well.
Fuck off. That's not bigger than your head.
The head isn't an organ.
Heart.
The heart is an organ, yeah.
Lungs. There's 2 of them.
Yeah, but it's still liver. And skin is, like, technically an organ, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Okay, general knowledge.
Oh, here we go.
First man on the moon.
Neil Armstrong.
Correct. Which country was Adolf Hitler born in?
Austria.
Hey, I tried to get you with that one. Very good. Who wrote the play Romeo and Juliet?
William Shakespeare. I am on fire!
What is the largest animal in the world?
Elephant.
I'll let you have another guess.
Giraffe. Whale. Yes!
Whale.
Oh, that was a guess as well.
Third time lucky. What is the tallest mountain in the world?
Mount Fuji. Fiji.
One more guess. There was a film made about it recently.
Mount Fuji. Mount Brokeback Mountain? I don't know.
Everest.
I knew that.
Can you name me the 4 member of the Beatles?
John.
John is one of them.
Paul.
Paul is one of them.
Give me a letter. Lennon.
That's John.
Chris.
No.
John. No,
You've said John 3 times now.
Yokozuna. No.
No, Yokozuna was not one of the Beatles.
Give me a letter. Ronald. Ron. Robert.
Ringo.
Oh, okay.
And the last one was George. George Harrison. To be fair, you did get the majority of them questions right.
I think I was pretty good.
Not too bad. I'm going to throw some names at you now. And I want you to say the first thing that comes into your head. Okay, Jimmy Havoc.
Death!
Clint Margera.
Death twice!
Jordan Devlin.
Best friend!
Scotty Davis.
Wrestler.
Walter.
My man. Big Daddy B.
Los Federer Los Santos Jr.
Sexy.
OTT Wrestling.
The best.
Fight Club Pro.
The second best, but the best in the UK.
Progress.
The top place I'm looking forward to going back to. Can't wait to go back.
Final one, Martina.
Huh?
Martina.
Sexy, fanciful. Fanciful.
Where do you see yourself in 3 years' time?
Probably dead. Very good chance I'll be dead. If not, hopefully still wrestling, but if I am, maybe shoot me. I don't know. Hopefully fucking sign somewhere. Hopefully. Who knows?
Thank you very much for your time.